Okay, how about that? I think I should be coming in now. Oh, that was strange. Yo, you guys didn't. I, so as I was doing my intro, now I got to redo my entire intro. There was like this. I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, if something goes wrong during the stream and I disappear, just know that there was a weird sound coming out from the wilderness. Anyways, back at it like a crack addict. What's going on, people? What's up? What's up? What's happening? Can you all see me? But most importantly, my friends, ladies and gentle germs, and everything in between, can you all hear me? I think y'all can hear me now. I am no longer. Oh, there we go. We're not even 5 minutes into the stream. NeoGame muted. Oh boy. Oh boy. See, like I said, I take a break from streaming for 1 week, and then this shit happens, man. Shit go left. But it wouldn't be a Neo stream without some kind of technical difficulty. You know what I'm saying, y'all? But what's going on, people? What's up? It's been a while, man. I had a good streak going on for these Ask Neos, but I decided to take last Saturday off, considering it was the birthday. Your boy turned 28 years old, which is very surprising because some people still think I look 18, which, you know, I'm gonna hold on to that thing until I get into my 60s. But yeah, your boy turned 28 last Friday, the 16th of July. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to every single one of y'all who wished me a happy birthday on Twitter, on IG, even here on the channel, which is kind of crazy because I didn't really even post anything. But thank you guys so much for all the birthday wishes, the well wishes, greatly appreciated. And I'm seeing a lot of homies in the chat right now. We got all the regulars. Shout out Ghost Fixter, Asbel Launch, Snorlax. We got Aaron Stallings, Dimwit Monkey, Amazing JD, Lucky Diamond. Oh, we got the whole crew in here tonight. Damn, that's what I'm talking about for the comeback stream. We got Ryan, Care Bear, Rescue Squad. Of course. Here comes Flame, ready to start some shit. What's up, Flame? Let's see who else we got, man. Oh, the homie Hustle Motive just subscribed again to the Phantom Weirdo Nation. Thank you so much for the support, brother. We got KJ, we got Leo. Let's see who else we got in here. All right. We got Super Matron with the NeoGameSpark nickname. Like I said, that's how we start these streams, man. We got Darkest Hero. We got POTC 3000, John Diaz. Alrighty. We got Zap Black. We got Notorious DRE, my guy. What's going on, Dre? We got Shabuya. We got Brawls, Fear No Hate. Oh, man, shout out to y'all. Shout out to all the homies, guys. It is good to see y'all after that little break we had. Oh, and then we got the homie Flame coming in with that $2 super chat nice and early. Just dropping my normal for you. Hope you're well. I'm doing good, Flame. I'm doing good, man. I don't know how much better I'm gonna be because yeah, I've been finagling with the idea of going to a convention this year, man. And you know, my homie Mocha, shout out to Mocha Chocolate TV. She's over there at DreamCon right now, and yo, like, out of all the things you could have tweeted about your first time back at a convention, she had to tweet, damn, some of y'all be stinky as fuck. And that's because I was low-key thinking about going to Otakon this year. I was thinking about hitting up Anime NYC for the first time. But then I just got reminded, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we come out of a pandemic? Well, we still in a pandemic. But how do we navigate from social distancing to getting back to some sense of normalcy? And these people still don't put deodorant on. They still don't wash their ass. What's going on, man? No, we can't do this. Biden's got to drop another stimulus check for all these people so they can go ahead and buy deodorant. Like, no more figurines, man. You just gonna get you a roll-on stick of Tom's Wilderness deodorant. Oh, man. Oh, that just low-key ruined my morning. Not really, but you know, man. So, some people always wonder, like, because there's a lot of people who are like into this nerd shit, but they don't really go to conventions, they don't go to Comic-Cons, they don't partake in that stuff. And they always ask me, like, are you over exaggerating when you talk about the smell? And all I can say is anybody who has been inside a game room, specifically a game room that hosts Smash Brothers tournaments, knows what I'm talking about, man. That funk, something else. But what's going on to all the new people joining? If you guys are enjoying that stream, make sure y'all hit that like button. Helps out the channel tremendously. Bro, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Listen, Jay, I wanted to have a little bit of optimism, man, you know, because we hadn't seen people in like a year and a half. So I'm thinking, yo, maybe you come out of this situation a better person, a more hygienic person. Nope. Wrong. Flame coming in with the $2 super chat. They won't buy deodorant, but they'll spend money on amiibos. Oh, they'll spend money on amiibos. They'll spend money on like lolly figurines. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Personal hygiene is not negotiable. Good personal hygiene is not negotiable. And shout out to all the people with the late birthday wishes. Thank you guys so much. Same for the trading card game tournaments like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and the like. Yeah, man. I haven't been to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament since I was like 10 years old. But, you know, thankfully the one that I did go to, it was very much so clean. But these days, man, I don't even know. And it's worse because you would think if it's like, I'm not saying it's acceptable, but if it's kids, I can sort of see it smelling a little funky. You know what I'm saying? Especially boys going through puberty. But when it's, wait for it, here we go, wait for it. When it's grown ass motherfuckers with beards and shit. Can't do that, man. Can't do that. These people will go buy $80 cardboard, but they won't buy no $3 deodorant. Can't with it. Can't do it. Extension. Hygiene? No. Waifu body pillows? Yes. That's crazy, man. Personal hygiene should be number one, especially if you have resources to keep yourself and keep smelling good. You know what the crazy thing is, Jay? Personal hygiene is something that I'm gonna be real, is the cheapest shit out there. You don't even need to get like the crazy good soap or deodorant or things like that. You ain't gotta be bougie, man. You just go to the grocery store, you get yourself some nice stuff, and you are good to go. But some of these people, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I see people fight over Pokemon cards before I see them head to. Man, let me not, guys. We already started this stream on a spicy note. Oh man, but how's everybody doing, y'all? How's your weeks been, guys? How's work? How's school if some of y'all is taking summer classes? How's the family? How's the kids? How's gaming been? We're getting ready to head into an onslaught of games, like especially if you on Xbox with Game Pass. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of shit dropping soon. But let me know, you guys, while we let a couple more people join in. Oh, and then we got the homie Colin, my boy, coming in with the chat, gracing us with his presence. Colin, it has been a while, my guy. It is good to see you. But let's get to your super chat first. Hey, Chris, it's so nice to see you again. Oh, Colin, my man. Thank you, brother. It's good to see you. First things first, Colin, what's going on in Canada? Because I was hearing something like y'all are about to allow travelers, I think at like the end of September or something. That's what I heard. I don't know how legit it is, but you know, I've just been working some brutal hours at the theater, but definitely bringing in that money. Hey, this man about to post the Blu-ray update. I see it. How have you been? It's been a while, but glad to be back. Yo, Colin, man, I've been doing straight over here, man. It's been smooth on my end. Very chill past couple of weeks, if I'm being honest. It's kind of crazy. Like once E3 finished, I kind of went into a little bit of just a little bit of a funk, because you know when you do E3 as a content creator, it is kind of draining, because you know you're doing a lot of videos, you're on a lot of podcasts, you're doing a lot of talking, you're keeping up. So after that, I just gave myself a whole week where I didn't really care about anything, and I just, what the hell? Okay, well I dropped something apparently. I dropped the dongle from my headset. And I just gave myself a week to relax after E3. And then since then, you know, I've just been chilling, you know, really catching up with a lot of people out here in the real as, you know, things have started to open back up consistently. Curfews have been lifted. And a lot of people are just visiting the New York area. You know, I've just been trying my best to hang out with people. And it's been a lot of fun, you guys. Just getting back to, I say this all the time, but, you know, getting back to some sense of normalcy has been great. On the gaming front, it's been really nice, bro. I've been playing through a lot of games recently, been completing a lot of games. This week in particular, I started 2 brand new games, Death's Door and Hitman. Well, technically the entirety of the new Hitman games, the Hitman trilogy, because man, after that Ubisoft event that we got, after that Ubisoft announcement thing that they did, I've just kind of resigned myself from the idea of thinking that Ubisoft is going to give us another Splinter Cell, man. And it's just, I got to get my fix somewhere else. But before I gave up all hope, I was kind of flirting with the idea of playing the Hitman games, but I wanted to get y'all's opinions on it. And I just posted on Twitter like, yo, what's the verdict on Hitman Trilogy? And everybody just came in there saying, yo, the Hitman games is fire, bro. You gotta play them. So considering they're all on sale right now, I bought myself Hitman 3, Hitman 2, and then the Axis pack for Hitman 1. So it brings all the maps over into Hitman 3. So, you know, that's been a lot of fun. I did the entire training mission section, and I did the first mission that you do for Hitman 1, which is the I just fucking played it. You know, you're in Paris, France, you know, the mansion and everything. You gotta assassinate the 2 people. And honest to God, like, I'm really liking it. Now, I have not played a traditional Hitman game in a long time. You know, the last Hitman game I played was Hitman Absolution. And I don't really classify that as a Hitman game because it was more linear in its approach to the previous games, which were more sandbox. But, you know, I enjoyed Hitman Absolution for what it was. Obviously, it's not one of my favorite Hitman games, but if you need it, it's kind of like if you got if you're hungry, you're on the side of the road, there's like a rotting dead carcass. If you hungry, you're gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? But I was kind of worried about the new Hitman games because they were doing like that episodic shit for a while, and you know, they went independent, so you know, the budget wasn't really there. But everyone is saying like, no, you gotta jump on them, bro. They good games, and good games they are, man. I'm really loving it. I'm gonna be going through all of the maps before I touch Hitman 3's content, and yeah, man, I've just been having fun with that and Death's Door. Death's Door, you guys, I don't really blind buy games that much, considering, you know, by the time I get to certain games, they're already on sale. But Death's Door, I remember I saw that, I believe, during the Xbox indie showcase they did. And that was one of the few games there that was genuinely interesting. Like, I was like, whoa, this looks awesome, man. It's like this little bird, and this bird's got a sword, right? But, you know, I kind of stopped looking into that because, you know, I'm the type of person where I don't need to see a billion trailers for a game or, you know, learn everything about it. If a game is interesting to me, I'm gonna go and get it. And then I remember the reviews started coming out, and I was like, oh, this is that bird sword game thingamabob, and apparently it's really good. So I went on Xbox, I bought it. I believe it's still on sale for under $15 if you have Xbox Live Gold. And dude, it's awesome. The best way I could describe it is mix the Legend of Zelda type of gameplay, you know, where you have certain puzzles and challenges to progress through dungeons. And you add that in with Dark Souls, but not really Dark Souls in the sense that it's a difficult game like Dark Souls, but Dark Souls in the sense that you have these over dramatic bosses, and every single one of the enemies you kill grants you souls, and you use those souls to upgrade your character and things like that. It's a lot of fun, you guys. I have not had this much fun with an indie game in such, I don't even want to like discredit it for what it is. I haven't had this much fun with the game, period, in such a long time. And it's very simple. Like, there's no type of you know, because with the Souls games, you know, I like them, but there's definitely a learning curve attached to it, and that will alienate a lot of people, which, you know, no harm, no foul. If you don't like difficult games, it is what it is. But one thing I love about Death's Door is that it's very accessible for people who just want to play a game and have fun, you know. And I've just been enjoying a lot of that. But yeah, Colin, thank you so much for your super chat, brother. It is good to see you, and I can't wait to see that Blu-ray update when you do post it, man. Because, you know, me and Colin, we've been going back and forth about our Blu-rays and shit. Because, you know, we the support physical media gang out here, man. I just bought the Criterion collection of Seven Samurai a few weeks back, and I just put it in order for Ghost of the Shell, the 90s movie. They put it out on 4K. Apparently the transfer is amazing, so I'm excited to have that in my collection. Oh man, Death's Door was only 30% off until launch day ended. Still $20 is such a good price for it. Oh, okay, thank you for that, super. All right, yeah, sure. So $20 is still an amazing deal for that game. You get roughly like 6 to 10 hours depending on how good you are in the game, and it's just a lot of fun, man. It's great. It's great. All right, but as customary with Ask Neo, you guys, this is our Q&A show where you guys ask me questions and I try my best to answer them within a timely fashion. There's no type of structure to the show whatsoever. I just look at the comment sections, we just scroll and blast. If you guys are interested in having your question have priority and highlighted, there's the super chat option, which helps out the channel. It makes it so your question is highlighted on the screen, and then all the money that's donated into that just gets put back into the channel for various things and yada yada yada. But you guys know the shtick by now. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start at the top and see what y'all been asking. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Are you watching the Olympics? No, I'm not watching the Olympics, to be honest. I don't really watch too many sporting events outside NBA and NFL, to be honest. I mean, every now and then I'll tune in for a baseball game, or like whenever the World Cup is happening, I'll catch a few games. But I mean, to be honest, I'm just more of a basketball and football kind of guy, so those are the only things I keep up with. But one thing about the Olympics that is actually really cool, I don't know if you guys have checked out the opening ceremonies, but in the opening ceremonies, when all of the athletes were walking out, they legit played video game music. Like, I'm talking about shit from Kingdom Hearts, from Nier, Dragon Quest. There were so many different franchises. I'm sure one of y'all has a list of them. Like, that shit right there is the it's the fucking craziest thing out there. It's like, yo, I grew up listening to the music, and it's being played while all these professional athletes are walking out. Like, people who don't even know anything about these franchises hear that music, and they're just like, oh, this is really great music. It's like, bitch, that's Yoko Shimomura right there. So that's definitely the coolest thing about the Olympics. I just watched the opening ceremony just for all of that stuff. All right. Hey Neo, have you played Scarlet Nexus? If so, what do you think about it? So yeah, I'm still going through Scarlet Nexus. Admittedly, I haven't touched it in the past 2 weeks. I've just been focusing on other games, and I recently got back into Final Fantasy 14, so that's been taking up a lot of my time. But yeah, I did play Scarlet Nexus. I want to say I'm close to the end of what's his name, Yuito's campaign, and I'm enjoying the game for what it is. It definitely, how do I say this? It's one of those games where I'm enjoying what I'm playing, but I definitely want to see them do a sequel, because it's a game where they go all in on one aspect, this being the combat, and then everything else is kind of like, yeah, we don't have the money to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like the budget was $20. Let's put $15 into the combat, and then story, cutscenes, world design, gameplay loop. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of things about it. The combat is definitely the highlight of it. I like the fact that you can sync up with your comrades. You can do crazy types of abilities and everything. But one of the reasons why I'm not like in any rush to really finish it is just the overall gameplay loop. The gameplay loop is extremely repetitive. There's no real variety in the environments. You pretty much just do the same thing, level in and level out. And I know on a fundamental level that is almost every single video game you play, but in this game it's extremely apparent. And when I get into situations like that, combined with, the storytelling it's not told in the best manner, it kind of puts me off. But the good parts about Scarlet Nexus outweigh the bad stuff. It's just one of those games where I think if they do like a Scarlet Nexus 2 or whatever, this could be the Uncharted 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could be the game that's like, yo, this is what I'm talking about. But it's a solid game. I would definitely say wait for a price drop on it. It's not something I could just say, yo, go buy this shit right now, All right. Let's see, scrolling through the other comments. All right. Let's see. If you like the stream, Neo will release part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII remake, as well as his own Pixar-style remake of Boku no Pico. Y'all, let's make it happen. Hit the like button. Oh, there go Dimwit Monkey again, causing chaos so early into the stream. Oh man, I need part 2 of that Final Fantasy VII remake, bro. Man, it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while. Let's see. Oh, shout out to Corey Gryffindor and Mexican Zoidberg. Good to see you guys. All right. Why Kingdom Hearts 3 sucks in your opinion? I wouldn't say Kingdom Hearts 3 is a terrible game, because it's not a terrible game. Like, for me, a terrible game is something like Final Fantasy 15. In my opinion, that is objectively a bad game, considering parts of the story in that game don't even exist. That just what? It's just like, wow, what the hell? But no, Kingdom Hearts 3 is not a terrible game in my opinion. I just think it's a very disappointing game. I don't think it's the finale that they've been building up towards for 20 years. I definitely think that, you know, the worlds that they did include in it, half of them kind of suck because of Disney. I'm not going to put this on Square Enix, because one thing a lot of people don't realize about the Tangled world and the Frozen world in Kingdom Hearts 3, a lot of people say, like, yeah, those are the weakest ones out of the bunch. The reason why is because of Disney. Disney is very, very, like, even more so than their previous, because, you know, Disney's been involved with Kingdom Hearts since the beginning. But with Tangled and Frozen, like, those are two of Disney's newer properties that have come out post Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, etc. And they're very much so protective of that IP. So they don't want anything about it to be changed in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, the Kingdom Hearts games, while they do remain true for the most part, they do take some liberties. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, for example, like take the Lion King world, Pride Lands. You know, it had the main story, which was, you know, talking about Simba's depression in the first Lion King movie, and then him fighting Scar, and then, you know, yeah, you know the story. And then when you go back to the world for the second time, they had a completely different story that was kind of in line with the Lion King, like lore and the mythos, but it had the Kingdom Hearts flair to it. Disney don't do that shit no more. They're like, no. If you are going to do Frozen, it is going to be exactly like the movie, and the world suffered because of that. So, like that for me is part of the reason why I don't want to go back and replay those worlds in Kingdom Hearts, because I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm just getting welfare versions of those movies, and they're not even told that well. It's like 3 major scenes from Frozen and Tangled, and if you have not seen those movies, you won't have any idea what's going on. So yeah, world design, not my biggest, I'm not the biggest fan of that. The story and what they did later on. The story of Kingdom Hearts 3 only happens in like the last 3 hours of the game. Like everything else you do up to that point, there's maybe like a sprinkle or two of story, but everything else happens in the last act. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It felt like it was building up towards another saga of Kingdom Hearts without giving resolution to this saga of Kingdom Hearts. I always bring up Avengers Endgame, because Avengers Endgame culminated this entire 10-year journey for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 10-year saga, right? And you could watch Avengers Endgame and be done with Marvel and be completely satisfied. You could not watch another subsequent piece of Marvel-related media, whether it's the TV shows or the movies, and you'll be okay. But with Kingdom Hearts, it's you leave Kingdom Hearts 3 with way more questions than answers, and then it's like, okay, well, please be excited for the next installment of Kingdom Hearts. Get ready to have more theories. I don't like that shit, man. You have to earn that. Like, you need to put out a product that is just genuinely satisfying from we're talking narratively, not gameplay, from the storytelling aspect. And then if you want to like hook, line, and sinker us for the future, that's when it's like, okay, yeah, you can do that. But yeah, enough about the story. Gameplay wise, after a few patches and with the Remind DLC, I think the Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay is the strongest in the franchise. Going above Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is a better complete package than Kingdom Hearts 3, just because the story is much better and the worlds are much better. But Kingdom Hearts 3's gameplay, like when you play that shit, oh my god, bro, it's so fucking good. And you bump up the difficulty, you do all that stuff. It's great. The gameplay of Kingdom Hearts 3 is fantastic, bro. I just wish that everything else in the package was much better. Let's see, we got a couple super chats coming in. We have 2 super chats coming in from JetLife504, both for $1.99. Scarlet Nexus was great, but got repetitive. Yep, I would definitely agree with that. And do you like Monster Hunter? I just got into World. So yeah, I'm a fan of Monster Hunter. I don't want to say like I'm a huge fan like that, because I haven't played the series. Honestly, as weird as this sounds, you guys, because Monster Hunter is at the highest point it's ever been with the launch of World and Rise on the Nintendo Switch. But I don't know, like the majority of my Monster Hunter days were on the PlayStation Portable, and then I dabbled a little bit onto the Wii and the 3DS, and after that I kind of fell off. which kind of sucks. I do want to get back into it, but I don't know. Like, I'm playing too many games where you have to dedicate a lot of time to it. Like, I just picked back up Final Fantasy 14, and that's a game that I'm playing every single day. Obviously, I don't play for hours on end, but you know, I go on there, I do my dailies, I do my duties, and yada yada yada. I don't want to have too many of those games in my life, and Monster Hunter World and Rise are games like that. So, giving credit where credit is due, fantastic games from Capcom. I'm glad that Monster Hunter is now on the map for mainstream audiences. But I'm not really. It's not that I don't want to play the games. It's just I have no desire to play the games right now. But they're really good. It's a really good franchise to get into, especially now. All right. Let's see. And then we have a $5 super chat from Flame. Oh, hey, Neo, I bought Balance, so expect something on Lords of Gaming, but still, do you recommend Scarlet Nexus regardless? Oh, this man just bought Balan Wonder. What is it? Balan Wonderland? Balan Wonderworld? Balan's Wonderworld of fuckery. That's what that is. Yo, I can't wait to hear your impressions on that shit. Flame, you gotta stream that, bro. We need to see your reactions. But yeah, I mean, I recommend Scarlet Nexus for people who want an action hack and slash JRPG. I want to recommend it, but as more days progress, I want to tell people to wait for Tales of Arise, because at the very least, the Tales franchise is always solid. Sometimes they put out bad entries, but for the most part, they're good. And I'd much rather somebody play Tales of Arise, because that's going to have a good campaign, great gameplay, and it's going to be more of an RPG than Scarlet Nexus is. Speaking of Tales of Arise, man, that hype is coming up, man. What's going on, Toma? Good to see you, bro. All right, let's see. Just had a 13-hour shift yesterday. That was fun. Oh man, Daniel Pack putting in that work, bro. Hopefully they taking care of you financially, man. Because I know they called you for overtime that one day, and you were like, oh, should I not? And we were like, Daniel Pack, do what you do, bro. Let's see. High school starts in 2 weeks. Oh man. Oh, you going into high school, Starlax, man. Oh god, I remember those days. It's crazy how I can actually say that now, because I graduated from high school 10 years ago. It's crazy. Time flies. Before you know it, man, you're going to be graduating, Snorlax. So, Godspeed to you in high school, man. I mean, I don't know how high school is these days, because, you know, it was so different. Like, when I was in high school, we were on the cusp of the social media boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was right before smartphones started to take off. So it was a very different kind of experience. Like, it was a time where, you know, if we wanted to hang out with our friends, we had to make sure to tell them, like, yo, we had to either tell them in person, we either had to have their number, or we had to, like, go on to like, we used to tell each other, like, hey, I'm gonna be on Facebook tonight at 5 p.m. If you need to reach me, or whatever, man. Like, nowadays, everybody's just so connected. Like, kids these days, they come out the womb and they get the iPhone 12 Pro Max. That shit's crazy. But yeah, man, my tip for high school is just, honestly, just be yourself, man. Keep doing your thing. You know, don't worry about fitting in with cliques. Don't worry about any of that dumb crap, because I promise you, none of that shit is gonna matter after high school. None of that shit. So just do you, man. You know, find your friends, find your true friends. And if you don't find any true friends, man, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's like, high school is this small portion of your life, and yet somehow people make it out to be like the best part of your life. I have never, like, I had a decent high school experience, but I have never met anybody who said, like, yo, man, high school is the fucking best. I'm like, damn, nigga, you 40. How you saying this shit? What have you done for the past 22 years? Oh, man. Let's see. Getting ready to transition back into school. Okay, super. Been rough this past week, not gonna lie. Hey, Dimwit Monkey, man, I don't know what's going on in your personal life, my man, but Godspeed to you on whatever you're doing, man. Just make sure you take a moment just to take a deep breath and reflect. Just take a deep breath, man. It's severely underrated. The Ascent is calling my name. I'm still playing Uncharted 2. Oh yeah, that's right, Hustle. You be going through them Uncharted games, bro. Yeah, the Ascent is what I'm looking forward to the most this summer, man. I mean, we got Flight Simulator coming out, but that's not really a game. You know what I'm saying? You have Psychonauts 2 coming out next month. But out of all of them, like, Psychonauts, Kenna, The Ascent. The Ascent is the one I'm most looking forward to because of that gameplay. That gameplay looks sick. Let's see. I had a coworker that would shower in Axe. LOL, Axe doesn't cover the body odor. It just creates a new nasty smell. Oh, yeah, that's one thing I don't miss about high school, man. Yo, can we talk about this shit for a second? Back in high school, they used to, bro, we used to have gym class at second period and then go straight to class from the gym. Like, no shower. No, I don't know how it is for you guys, but back when I was in high school, we only had to shower if we were, if we had, because, you know, for the marking periods, sometimes we would have to do swimming. And the only time we got to shower is if we had swimming for that gym class. But other than that, we would literally just go do gym, PE, and then go straight to class afterwards. That shit is fucking nasty. You got a whole bunch of people going through puberty. And, God, man, I don't know how we did it. But the like a lot of people, what Axe, or I think it's called Lynx in the UK, a lot of people just had the can of Axe, and what they would do is just spray it all after the gym, and man, it created the nastiest smell out there, because the Axe scent in general is very strong, but then you mix that in with BO, whew, that is not something I'd wish on my enemies, man. Let's see. My Series X is running 3 days late. Leave it to UPS. Oh man, Lucky Diamond. Hopefully you get that shit, man, because dude, that's the worst thing. If if you don't know where your console is you're in transit, dude, I would have a heart attack. I feel like NBA 2K has ruined playing anything online. I'm now only interested in single player games. I'm tired of people cheating and cheesing. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of these games as a service. Well, not all games as a service, but games from EA and 2K. I'm talking about NBA. I'm talking about FIFA. I'm talking like even Call of Duty to an extent. A lot of people in those games just cheese it, man, and they buy the microtransactions and they buy all these crazy things to give them an edge in the game, and it's just not fun, man. Back in the day, it used to be about pure skill, and now it's just like, well, who has the biggest bank account? That's what it comes down to. Who puts their 16 digits in the security code fastest? And that's why I kind of stay away. Like the last time I played a 2K game like that was NBA 2K11. That was like the last time I played it. I mean, I played a little bit of 2K13, a little bit of 2K16, but after that, I just kind of gave up on it, man. It's just not the same, dude. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but the graphics look a lot better, and you know, it's NBA 2K. You just play with your boys. Don't think too much about it. Well, yeah, you gotta think a lot about it when these shits is like $70 now. It ain't like it used to be where you buy a game and you get a lot of shit out of it. Now you just buy the game, and that's your privilege of playing the game. That's like the entry point. But yeah, single player games are my bread and butter. I like a lot of online games when they're done right. So I'm talking like Final Fantasy 14, like Sea of Thieves nowadays, things like that. Are you buying Judgment 2? Absolutely, dude. Everything I've seen about Judgment 2, it's like, dude, they are going all in for this sequel. I can't wait. And hopefully that whole situation they got going on with Johnny's doesn't impact the future of the franchise. Yeah, for those who aren't aware, the main actor involved in Judgment, he's part of this Japanese talent agency called Johnny's. They represent a lot of actors and idol groups and yada, yada, yada. And the thing about Japan, as you guys know, Japan is very, very backwards on a lot of things. They're very backwards, and they're very slow to adjusting to how fast the world is going. So for a lot of my anime heads in the room, you guys will know this. For a while, anime in the United States and around the world was taking a heavy hit to online piracy, because as we were transitioning to the digital age in the late 2000s, I'm talking like 2009, 10, 11, 12, etc., a lot of people chose to watch their anime online because it was a lot more convenient than waiting for the DVDs to come out and yada, yada, yada. And companies like Funimation had to fight tooth and nail with the Japanese partners to work on streaming services to get the anime available before the bootleggers. And it took so many years for them to actually get to the point where we now have anime that's not only simul-subbed when it comes out from Japan, but simul-dubbed within like the first couple of weeks. But that would have never happened through the Japanese's own volition, because they are very slow to adjusting to things. I mean, look at Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo, the most Japanese company of all. Like, they still, I mean, I'm not going to get into this whole Switch rant, but yeah, Johnny's in general, they're very protective of their IP, and by IP I mean their actors and their agency. They don't allow any of their actors and idol groups to be on social media. They don't even let them be in public relationships. You cannot have a relationship in idol culture. It's fucking insane when you think about it. Like, they literally own your entire life. But for the Judgment game, you guys remember when Judgment, they announced the remaster and it was coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and Stadia, but not Steam? People were only like, what the fuck is going on? And that has to do in part with Johnny's not wanting the actor's face and the likeness to be on PC. Something about PC does not, it does not compute for that company, which is so weird, because what's the difference between PC and consoles at the end of the day? You can still mod consoles and do stuff to the characters and all that stuff. There are workarounds to everything, but they just don't want it on there because they can't control it. Part of me was thinking that they don't want it to be modded so they can have the actor's face doing crazy things, and then people see that and they're like, oh my god, what's going on? But at this point, I just think it's Japanese companies being backwards and not wanting to adjust to the rest of the world. Because what happens is, when you're a company and you have been making money a certain way for so many years, why would you want to rock the boat? The Dragon Quest composer, for example, his own personal issues aside, he's a whole character, and anyone who knows about him knows what I'm talking about. When they first released Dragon Quest in 2017, this was the PS4 version, fans might have noticed that the music in that game was all like MIDI stuff, which is very strange. Like, why are you releasing this big budget Dragon Quest game and there's no orchestrated music? Like, what's happening here? And the reason why was because the composer, who's been composing the Dragon Quest music for the longest time, he didn't want to use the actual fully orchestrated score, because he felt that if they included it in the game, it would impact CD sales, concert sales, and therefore devaluing the opportunity to make money. Let me just get that through everybody's head, right? You're playing through Persona 5. You love the music in that game. Last Surprise. You love Rivers in the Desert, whatever track. Imagine if the composer was like, nobody is going to buy our CD because they could listen to the music in game. Yeah, I'm totally going to turn on my PlayStation 4 just so I can listen to this track during battle where I have all the other character voices going on and obstructing my listening experience of the music. Like, that's how backwards a lot of these people are, because it's like, why rock the boat? And it's just so ridiculous because it impacts our entertainment and us having fun. Like, anime fans, video game fans, we spend money. We go ahead and we buy this stuff. So to them to think that it's just, again, these are really like for example, America has a problem with old white men thinking they know what's best for the country. Japan has that problem too with old Japanese men thinking they know what's best for the country. It's just an unfortunate reality, and I really hope it does not affect the future of Judgment. Because the actor really loves his time in Judgment, but he's just bound by all this legal red tape. I went on a whole real crazy tangent on that. Like I said, some of this stuff is just genuinely interesting to me. But shout out to all the new people joining into the chat. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Good to see everybody. If y'all enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out the channel. Alrighty, let's see. I saw one question right here. Where did it go? I just saw it. Where is it? Did you get a chance to check out Pokemon Unite? No, I haven't gotten a chance to check out Pokemon Unite. For those who don't know, that's like that Pokemon MOBA game. To be honest, I'm not really big into Pokemon like I used to be, so anything about it, I'm just kind of whatever. But my best friend Tundex, he's been streaming the game for the past couple days, and he really enjoys it. So yeah, but if he really likes it, and he doesn't bullshit, he's the type of person who's just like, yeah, I know the Pokemon games are bullshit. I'm not gonna sit here and say they're awesome. So he keeps it real. But he's really enjoying Pokemon Unite, so that's some good news. Child of Light is an amazing game, Super. It's a great game. With ray tracing in this generation, we need Siphon Filter, Hitman, and Splinter Cell. Dude, oh my god. I was just thinking, like, bro, I still can't believe that Bend, they did Days Gone when they could have given us Siphon Filter. They did Days Gone when we could have gotten Siphon Filter. They wanted to do a Days Gone 2 when we could have gotten Siphon Filter. Bro, we don't... Hitman is like the only legitimately popular stealth game these days. We don't get that shit anymore. What the fuck? Do people just hate the stealth genre? Like, we don't even have Metal Gear anymore. Metal Gear is dead. People just hate the stealth genre, man. I can't do this. I just got Avengers. What am I in for? You're in for a decent Marvel story campaign, and then other than that, I don't know, man. I mean, I played it when it came out. I wasn't feeling it. It was just very fucking repetitive, and yeah, the less said about that game, the better. Do you think that people using Dolphin on Steam Decks will be what finally makes Nintendo to put all their old games on Switch? All things evil, you are implying that Nintendo actually cares what we think. Nintendo doesn't care. Nintendo, the craziest thing is, all Nintendo has to do is release their entire back catalog on the Switch. That's it. All they have to do is build emulators into the Switch, which people have done, and release all those games. You do not have to remaster them. You don't need to do anything crazy. People will buy them, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it, and it makes no sense. Like my sister, as you guys know, I bought my sister a Switch for her birthday last year. She's slowly getting back into gaming after not gaming for close to 20 years. But one of her favorite franchises as a kid growing up was Fire Emblem, right? So I bought her the Switch. I bought her Fire Emblem, Three Houses. She loved the game. She's played through it multiple times at this point. She's played through it more than me. And she always asks about, like, how things are done gaming nowadays, because she doesn't know. Like, when she saw, like, the storefront for the eShop, she's like, wow, you can buy all your games digitally here. This is crazy. So she was looking on the store for Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem, like the Game Boy Advance one, was it Fire Emblem 7, the first one we got here, you know, Sacred Stone. She was looking for all those games, wondering, like, where are these games? Like, they should be on here. And I said, oh, no, they're not. The only game on the Switch right now for Fire Emblem is Three Houses, and then there's Nintendo did a limited run of the, like, what was it, like, first Fire Emblem or whatever. And she's like, I don't understand. They own the games. Why aren't they on the Switch? And I said, because Nintendo is dumb and they don't like money. Literally. Like, and she was so fucking sad. She's like, oh, wow. So what I ended up doing for her is I gave her my 3DS, my copy of Awakening, and I just told her, like, yeah, here, you can play Fire Emblem Echoes, because she really wants to play Echoes so bad. So she's going to download that on the eShop. But yeah, man, I mean, Nintendo, unlike PlayStation and Microsoft, Nintendo has the biggest appeal when it comes to nostalgia. All you have to do is re-release all their older games on the Switch. $5, $10. Some people will pay $20 for a ROM, but they just don't want to do it. But if I'm being real, I'm going to get that Steam Deck because I pre-ordered it. And that shit, I'm just going to emulate all the Nintendo shit, man. All the older games on there. Every single thing, man. Because if Nintendo is still not giving me this shit, man, this is ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous, man. Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Steelbooks. Steelbooks. That's what's up. That's what's up. The social aspects were an afterthought in Scarlet Nexus. They are out of place. Yeah, Tunde. The thing about, like, you know how you see, I don't know, man. I'm not saying Persona started this shit. I am not. But when you see a lot of games nowadays try to do the whole Persona social link sort of thing, they just half bake it, bro. It's like always half baked. You're like, yeah, these social interactions, it's gonna be great. You're gonna build your bonds with the character. They don't really amount to anything. It doesn't really matter that much. But in Persona, when you have a bond with your characters, not only are they well-written characters, but it contributes to the gameplay. You get new abilities. You get, like, that's how it should be. It's organic. But in Scarlet Nexus, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about doing all these social interactions. I just don't, man. Have you seen the Persona 5 anime? Do you like it? Second part of the question. Is it worth watching the Persona 4 anime if you haven't played Persona 4? So here's the thing. Oh, and shout out to Teacher Got Game for the 99-cent super chat. Thank you so much. I'm not a big fan of video game, like specifically JRPGs being retold as anime. Because what happens with a lot of these JRPGs, especially the ones that give you the advent of choice, they usually select one path and they make that the de facto, like the default path. And, you know, if you play games like Persona where you can have friendships and bonds with all these characters, it just doesn't really work. So I saw a bit of the Persona 5 anime. At that point, I'm like, if I'm going to spend all these hours with Persona 5 characters, why not play Persona 5 where I can get every single thing about these characters done better? And my sister was asking me like, hey, this is before she started playing Persona 5. Would you recommend I watch the Persona 5 and Persona 4 anime? I said, no, do not, because you're going to be losing out on why people love this story. And that's just my opinion of it. There's no way they can, like, the story in those games is like 100 hours long. There's no way you can adapt that into a 26 episode anime or even a 52 episode anime and make that shit work. Like, there's just so it would disrupt with the entire flow of the story, because like, how would you do all the character interactions? You know what I'm saying? You could have like a couple episodes dedicated every arc to just spend with Yusuke, or, you know, spend with Yukiko, you know, if you're doing Persona 4 and Persona 5 anime. All right. I might do a Steam Deck video if you guys want it. I think now that Disney is letting developers have creative freedom with their IP, so let's hope for Kingdom Hearts 4 and whatever they make gives us more original stories. Yeah, I would hope so, Corey Gryffindor. I like the fact that they worked with Xbox on Sea of Thieves. Like, that was really cool. But, you know, they're not really... How do I say this? It's not like there's too much crazy creative freedom going on where they're creating completely different stories with the Disney IPs. You get what I'm saying? Kingdom Hearts being an RPG, it's like story driven. So there is more room and potential for them to alter things about the lore. But I don't know if they'd really want to do that, but we'll see. We'll see with Kingdom Hearts 4. I just want them to do a Treasure Planet world, man. Treasure Planet, Atlantis, like that's what I want for Kingdom Hearts, man. Bethesda, Obsidian, Playground plus MP. Bro, no mercy on your time. Yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy. Dude, all these games coming out in the future. Dude, that's why I don't know, man. I don't know how people have time to argue online over this video game shit. Like, there's so many games to play right now, and there's so many games coming out in the future. Like, how do people have time to just sit on Twitter and argue about, oh, the Xbox Series X or the Series S is not selling in Germany, but you know what? The PlayStation 5 is not selling in Tokyo. Like, how do y'all motherfuckers have the energy to do this shit? How? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is why I don't be contributing in this console war bullshit, because this shit is bullshit. Like, I don't get it. How does this make you, how do you have fun doing this? How? I don't understand it, bro. Like, you know what I did today? You know what I did today? I turned on my Xbox. I played Death's Door. I was having fun. Then I got on Twitter and I saw this shit and I'm like, dude, this console war shit is a joke. Let's see. Was anyone else disappointed when they announced the new Dragon Ball movie is called Superhero and they didn't show Great Saiyan Man? Dude, Dragon Ball names at this point are so weird. Like, what do they called, like, Dragon Ball Fighters with the Z on the end, and then they released a game called Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. Like, honestly, it's not that surprising at this point that they would call something Dragon Ball Superhero. Could you imagine that? Get ready for the brand new Dragon Ball Super movie, Dragon Ball Superhero. And I know it's probably gonna have some type of like plot significance and plot relevance, but dude, come on. Just got home from a morning walk with my father, who's currently recovering from a skin graft in his right arm. Ooh, Godspeed to your dad on that one, Maddie. And it's good to see you, my friend. Neo, are you gonna play Halo Infinite multiplayer when it comes out? Oh, absolutely, absolutely, dude. Yeah, it's been a long time since I was invested in a Halo multiplayer on release. Like the last time that happened for me was Halo Infinite, because I only played 4's multiplayer for a few hours, and it just didn't hook. It just didn't hook. Is Scorn and the Gunk coming to Game Pass? I believe the Gunk is coming to Game Pass. Yeah, they showed it off, right? Did you go to your high school class reunion? To tell you the truth, John, I don't even know if they held one. I didn't see anything on my feed. I didn't talk to... Because the thing about me is I have a very small circle of friends out here in the real, and very few of them are from the high school days. Like, I have acquaintances from the high school days, but if I call you my friend, that means some serious shit. Like, you a homie, for real. I don't even know if they were planning that shit because, you know, with the whole COVID thing happening really, you know, stopped all the social gatherings and all that stuff. So I don't even think they had it. They might have it at the end of the year. I'm not sure, but to be honest, I'm not gonna go to that shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, I only fuck with maybe 10 people from high school. What the fuck am I gonna go to a high school reunion for? Let's see. Yo, Neo, I just got the LG C10 and it's no freaking joke. Get a damn OLED, Neo. Yo, I know, Zoidberg. I know. Every day I regret not getting that OLED, bro. But I'm probably going to cop it. I'm probably going to cop an OLED in the next year. But then I got to find what I got to do with this, because I got this 65-inch Sony Bravia, and it's a good TV. But then, man, it's so much easier to sell like a 40-inch TV than it is a 65-inch TV, because then I got to... Then I gotta get the box for this motherfucker, and then I gotta transport this. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be an issue, man. It's gonna be an issue, but I definitely do want to get that. I want to get that C1. Oh, and shout out to all the new people joining the stream. Shout out to y'all. Shout out. Neo, did you get a new GPU? No, I'm still rocking my AMD 5700 XT. I still got that. I'm not really worried about the whole scalping situation, and I don't game on PC as my primary platform, so I don't need to buy myself like an $1,000 GPU. Definitely within like the next 2 years or so, I will get a new GPU. But for the time being, I'm okay. My PC plays all my games 1440p, 60 frames. I like that. Love your videos, by the way. Oh, thank you, Aiden. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support. Do you like retro games over modern generation games? To be honest, I'm definitely more of a modern gamer. I'm more of a here in the moment type of guy. Just because I like new experiences, and there's a lot of things that we're doing in games now that we couldn't do back then. But that doesn't discredit what they were able to pull off back then, because there's a lot of shit in games back then that they're not doing nowadays, which is so weird, because there was a lot of ingenuity and creativity that went into, you know, some of the games and game design back in the 80s and the 90s that we're just not seeing anymore now. It's very strange. But I'm definitely more of a modern gamer because I like to play new stuff coming out. Every now and then I do dabble in some old stuff. Like, it's crazy because would you guys consider the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube retro at this point? Because, you know, it has been 20 years. We are coming up on the 20-year anniversary of the Xbox and the GameCube. So wouldn't that be considered, wouldn't that be considered retro? Because, you know, back in 2008, you know, when people like Pete Dorr and all of them got on YouTube, when we were talking about retro games, that was talking about things like the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. And at that point, those consoles were like 20 years old, close to 20 years old, approaching 20 years old. So yeah, we got to consider the GameCube and all them like retro consoles, man. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, you know, every now and then I'll go back and I'll play an old classic, like an old school JRPG, or an old, like, there's just some genres that unfortunately nowadays don't exist like they used to. Like the amount of platformers that we get now versus back then, completely different. The amount of like side scrollers that we got back then. I mean, we still got a lot of good ones now, but back then it was definitely bigger, you know? I just wish these publishers would make good life service games. Well, you see, that's the problem. The problem with that is these publishers, they go into it wanting to make a live service game instead of making a good game. That's what it comes down to. Like when I hear people announce like, yeah, we're gonna make this game and it's gonna be live service, I'm like, like that's what you're leading off with, right? Oh my god, Jesus. Let's see. In high school, they wouldn't let us shower after gym either. Oh, so it wasn't just me, Hustle. Damn, we was all stanky as fuck out in the streets. Axe mixed with high school BO could knock out an elephant. That would be an amazing attack for a party member in a JRPG. Oh my god. If you ever made a JRPG about American kids in high school, holy shit. That's some poison damage right there. Let's see. You watching He-Man, Master of Revelation? I watched the first episode last night, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not feeling it. I'm really not feeling some of the things they've done. I don't like the bait and switch. I'm willing to give it a chance to see what else the show has to offer, but I'm just not a fan of these revivals doing these stupid ass bait and switch things, you know? It's like, we're going to bank off your nostalgia and then we're going to do something completely different. It's like, really? What? What's your favorite sports to watch? My favorite sport to watch, hands down, is definitely basketball. But, you know, I watch football every now and then. If a baseball game is on, I'll check it out. But it's always going to be basketball. Hey, Neo, do you like to dance? I mean, at a party or by yourself, etc.? I'm not really... So I don't mind dancing. I do dance time to time, like myself. I think it's like a great form of exercise and you just get in tune with yourself. But you know, when I'm at parties, the social anxiety side of me definitely comes out more. So I don't dance as much as I would like to. But you know, you get a few drinks in me. That's when I'm just like, fuck it. Put on the playlist. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just got to fucking dance. You got to move and not worry about what other people say. So that's definitely something that when, you know, I start going back out with the homies and we go to, you know, parties and shit, and we got, honestly, to me, dancing, I gotta be around a good group of people. I gotta be, like, the vibes have got to be immaculate. I can't just be dancing as a lame ass party. That's like, nah, it's a waste of my energy, bro. It's a waste of my energy. But when we with the right people, like, oh man, E3 2018, oh man, forget about it. That shit was fun. Preach. Nothing in high school matters once you've graduated, but take advantage of the classes you want to try but don't want to pay for. In college, that's trade school. Got to do welding for a year for free. Oh, that's a good point. That's definitely a good point. Yeah, if your school offers any type of trades, definitely take advantage of them. You know what I'm saying? Because then you can start getting into potential career paths earlier in life and see what it is, as opposed to going to like vocational schools and paying for that and thinking, oh, you know, maybe I'll like this, and then you don't. You know what I'm saying? The idol industry in Japan is complete bonkers. Yeah, it is. It definitely is, bro. Let's see. You look fly as hell as usual. Also, hella is my word now. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, I just got a fresh cut yesterday. I'm growing out the beard a little more. My beard's taking its time to grow, but you know, just gotta trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Let's not forget that Judgment had an actor be replaced after he was caught with drugs. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's another thing that happened with Judgment, guys. So when Judgment came out in Japan, I believe the end of 2018, one of the actors, I think he was like one of the antagonists, he was caught with drugs. I think it was cocaine. And in Japan, getting busted with drugs is a huge deal. A huge deal. It's not like it is over here, like, yeah, you get caught with drugs. All right, yeah, go ahead, do your time. But he got caught with drugs there. And it was so bad that they removed him post-launch game. They removed him and replaced him with an actor. Another actor. So the game that we've been playing in the West for the past 2 years is a completely different actor than the one who was originally cast in the game and mocapped. Like, could you imagine? That's a nightmare if you're working on the game and it's just like, oh, this actor got caught with drugs. Fuck, now we have to mocap a completely different actor. Dude, it's wild. Holy shit. It's insane, you guys. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the Steam Deck right now. I might end up doing a whole video on it. But yeah, some people have been wondering what are my thoughts on the Steam Deck. It got announced like, what was it, last week, and pre-orders went up for the reservations. Overall, I gotta say, I'm actually fascinated by the Steam Deck. I definitely like the idea of it. I mean, essentially, it's a Switch, but for your PC games. You know, this isn't the first time it's happened before. We've had multiple like portable handheld PC devices in the past, but they've always suffered from two things. Either they were ergonomically not the best made, like best built material, so they felt really cheap, or they were way too expensive to justify their existence. So there was always a problem when striking a balance between performance, price, battery life, and honestly, until the Nintendo Switch, there really wasn't a device that did that very well. But you know, with the Switch's popularity, it's prompted a lot of these people to start doing that again. But the problem is, it's always coming from third-party manufacturers, which, I mean, okay, cool, but if it's only appealing to a small niche demographic, it's only ever going to do small niche sales, and that's not enough to justify taking a loss on a product like that, because anything that's a handheld that has that much power in it, you are going to take a loss. You are going to be losing money on it. So here you have Valve in all their gajillions of dollars that they've made off of Steam. They're coming out with the Steam Deck, and just looking at it from the specs and what you're able to pull off, I actually like it. Now, it remains to be seen the longevity of this device, especially when it comes down to how long it's going to be supported, because Valve does have a bad history of not really supporting their products. There was the what the thing they had, the Steam Link, the Steam box. They had that Steam controller. They just really didn't give it their all. They didn't give it their A game. And so now they're coming out with this, and justifiably, I can see why a lot of people would be kind of nervous that, oh my God, I'm going to buy this device for like $400, and then it's going to drop support and there's not going to be any updates. So I can totally see that. But in a perfect world, let's just say, for example, this thing is a hit. It works as intended, and it's something that they do long term, because this is definitely a first generation type of product. This is something that it'll be, if it's successful, it'll be refined upon with years to come, with different iterations like you have on your smartphones and everything. But just looking at what it's offering you, a PC experience but in the palm of your hands, to me that is phenomenal, because there's a lot of games on PC that I would love to play, but just because of the nature of how I game, I don't really get access and opportunity to play them on my PC. Like take for example the Legend of Heroes series, right? Asbel knows. He's probably already, yep, there it is, he already commented. The Legend of Heroes series. Now that it's a long-running Japanese RPG franchise. Some would say it's the most underrated Japanese RPG franchise of all time. The problem with Legend of Heroes is that unless you're gaming on PC, you can't play the entirety of that series. It's kind of set up like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it has these phases of storylines, right? And each phase has its own storyline, beginning, middle, and end, and then it goes into a new phase, beginning, middle, and end, and a new phase, beginning, middle, and end, but they're all interconnected, they're interwoven, and they have characters dropping in and dropping out. Now, if you're playing on PC, it's great because you have all the games on there, and unfortunately, some of them weren't localized, so fans got together and did fan translations. That's changed now. It's going to be officially localized thanks to the fan translation, so that's awesome. But, you know, those type of games, like JRPGs, I love playing them on handhelds. I do most of my gaming for JRPGs on handhelds. That's why I love the Switch, because it has a lot of JRPGs. But it does not have all of the Legend of Heroes series. So the fact that I can play all of those games on a handheld, I might be able to finish that entire franchise in a week. Now, obviously not, because each of those games is long as fuck. But having all those games portable is fantastic. There is the elephant in the room, though. There was a report that came out that said that the Steam Deck will be targeting 30 frames per second at native resolution. Now, I know a lot of people are just like, oh my God, 30 frames per second, that's terrible. You know, why PC gamers don't like 30 frames per second? So two things that I do have to say. Number one, it is a PC, so it is going to be scalable and you can adjust it to your liking. So you can get 60 frames per second in some games. They might not be to your liking in terms of performance, but like with the Nintendo Switch, those are some of the trade-offs that you have. Granted, this is a little better than the Switch because you can adjust it to get 60 frames, whereas the Switch, it kind of is what it is as far as performance is concerned. You either get it or you don't. But for me personally, for the type of games that I would play on my Steam Deck, I'm not going to be playing all these graphically intensive games. I'm going to be playing a lot of older titles. I'm going to be playing a lot of JRPGs that are now portable. And of course, Yakuza, because I want to take Yakuza everywhere. So for me, the Steam Deck is really exciting because there's just a lot of games from way back when that I would love to replay. And I know I'm not going to sit down on my computer and play them, but just by the nature of having a handheld that has access to all those games, I can play them. So I'm excited about it from that perspective alone, but I totally understand a lot of people's, fears and skepticisms as far as it pertains to if this device is going to be supported long term, what's the battery going to be like for modern games, and just all those other things. I totally get it, which is why we're going to have to take a wait and see approach. It's not why I'm out here being like, oh my god, Steam Deck, it's going to be a life changer, game changer, all that shit, because for all we know, it could flop. You know what I'm saying? The storage side of things, storage side doesn't really bother me too much considering the storage is expandable. You can swap in an SSD or you can use a micro SD card, and micro SD cards, like half a terabyte micro SD card, you can get for like $40. So that's really good for storage is concerned. So right then there, you can have a shit ton of games on there because, games on PC, as far as size is concerned, are usually bigger than console. So that right there solves that issue. But me personally, I'm not going to be putting fucking Call of Duty Warzone on there. I'm not going to be putting all those crazy games. Like, I'd be surprised if the amount of storage on that thing for me goes past 30 gigabytes. You get what I'm saying? Like 30 gigabytes for one game. I just want to put Max Payne 3 on there, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I pre-ordered the 512 gigabyte one, which is like the highest model available. So that thing doesn't ship until Q2 2022. Fingers crossed if it doesn't get delayed. So we've got like a little under a year, maybe a year or so until it comes out. We'll see. All right, we got a 279 Canadian super chat coming in from Colin, my boy. What are some of your top travel destinations? Ooh, so as far as places that I've been that I always recommend people check out, I'm still traveling around the world whenever I can. Obviously, the past year and a half, I haven't traveled anywhere. But for me, when it comes to traveling places, I love going to places where I can relax and enjoy myself. I'm definitely one of those people that goes on vacation, and I if you put me on a beach, I will just sit in front of that beach for the entire day and relax. I'll read a book. I'll play my Switch. I'll just do that. I'm down for doing excursions and all that fun stuff, but for me, I like going places and relaxing. So Aruba is one of my favorite places. I went there 2 years ago, in fact, January 2019. I went there with my ex-girlfriend. And we had an amazing time just relaxing. Our Airbnb was literally right on the beach. It was like a 20-second walk. It was awesome. They have great seafood there. Ironically, I do love going out to, since I live in the United States, I love going to a lot of places that have a big wilderness focus. So I love going to places where, you have cities and stuff, but you have access to the wilderness. You have mountains, and you again, I can just go places. I can just go sit and relax at the top of a cliff and just overlook the world. So, anything like that, I am down with. Some other spots that I really do enjoy. Paris is cool, I guess. I mean, to be honest, I went with my ex at the time, so I took her there for her birthday. And it was cool, but I don't think I'd really go back there myself unless I really was into seeing all of the sites that I didn't see and I wanted to just have the food. That's another reason why I travel a lot, for food. But for me, places that are very relaxing. But the thing I've noticed about all the places I've been to, whether it's Canada, whether it's, Aruba, whether it's wherever, is that I can find enjoyment in places. So a lot of people say that, oh, I don't want to go to this place because it doesn't seem exciting. Like, well, what do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, people are expecting a fucking amusement ride of entertainment going to a really chill spot. It's like, no, man, you got to know where you're going. So yeah, like there are a couple places I do want to go to soon. Japan, I'm definitely going to next year. I want to head out there. Finally, I've been trying to go to Japan for the past couple of years, but you know, something always happens, like work scheduling or school or what have you. I want to make it out to the UK. I want to go to India. I want to go to Germany. I was supposed to go to Amsterdam, ironically, at the end of March 2020, but COVID happened. So it's like, nope, that's not happening. So there's a lot of spots I want to hit up. And shout out to the homie Maddie Vacuum24 for the $1 super chat. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Hydration check. Oh no, we ain't doing the hydration check till the end of the stream. Chuck, you know how this goes. Are you boycotting Activision Blizzard after the horrible things they did? Yeah, so we might as well just talk about the Activision situation that's been going down. I don't know if you guys follow, because ironically, there are some people here who don't really follow gaming news, which is cool. But there was, I don't even know how to start this, but Activision Blizzard is being sued by the state of California, for workplace distress. That's the best way I could describe it. A lot of people have come forward to the terrible, horrific working environments at Activision Blizzard, and it's prompted this dialogue and discussion. We have this discussion like every couple of months in the gaming industry about workplace culture and how it's really detrimental in the gaming industry. Jason Schreier does incredible, like your feelings on Jason Schreier aside, Jason Schreier does incredible news and reporting when it comes to these type of stories, because this is stuff that is not really talked about that much. And I know for some people, they like to disconnect the workplace harassment stuff and the crunch culture from video games, because they're like, I don't care about that stuff. I care about video games and the final product. But what a lot of people don't realize is that you can't disconnect how somebody is being treated when they're working on a game just because you enjoyed the game. Because if that person is in distress and they are being burnt out on a daily basis and all this other terrible shit that's happening, that is going to affect the final quality of the game. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there's a reason why a lot of these people are not making video games anymore. There's a big reason why there's an exodus in the video game industry because of these situations. And it's just horrible. It's horrible. We heard it happen with Ubisoft. We heard it happen again for the 88th time with Activision. And I don't even know where to begin with this. There's been a lot of talk about boycotting Activision, boycotting Call of Duty, boycotting Diablo, boycotting World of Warcraft, and all that stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I'm holier than thou, saying I am going to boycott. And I'm not going to sit here and tell people they should boycott. Because at the end of the day, I'm a grown ass man. It is not my job to police somebody and tell them what they should or shouldn't do with their money. And whether that means they want to support Activision Blizzard and buy their games, or they don't want to support Activision Blizzard and buy the games, like whatever you want to do, you're going to do. Me, myself, and I don't really play a lot of Activision Blizzard games. I don't play Call of Duty like that. The last time I bought a Call of Duty game was Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and that's because of the zombies mode. But every other game that I've purchased since was either really cheap on sale, like the Spyro games, the Crash games, or I've gotten them gifted to me, like Black Ops Cold War. But I don't really actively support Activision Blizzard, so I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I'm going to boycott them. But if somebody wants to boycott them, by all means, go ahead and do that. If you don't want to boycott them, like I saw a great video on Twitter from, I forgot her name. If I find it, I'll retweet it. But she was basically saying how, the same stance that I'm taking, where boycott if you want. If you don't want to boycott, don't boycott, because it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, there's some people who play video games for their anxiety and their mental health, and for some people, they need those kind of games. And it's not because they're addicted to them. It's because that is their comfort zone. So like games like World of Warcraft. But I do think what we need to do, and this is something that everybody is in agreement on, what we need to do is we need to highlight more of these stories. So every single time these stories come out, we talk about them. extensively. Like, we don't sweep them under the rug and say, oh, we'll focus on the video games. We don't do any of that shit, because this is a problem. It's been persisting for years, and it's terrible that it's been going on for so long. And where do we lie as the consumers? Like, it's very hard for us. So it's like, yeah, we want to boycott this to support the developers, but at the same time, if the game flops, Activision's going to close down those studios and those developers are going to be out of work. So it's like, I genuinely do not know what to do in this situation, which is why I don't take a stance. You know, like, the only stance I will take is the fact that I will speak out against any type of harassment that is going on in the industry. I will amplify those voices, because that's the only thing that I can do as a person. You know, I can't make that change, as in, I can't go and fire those people. I can't go and do anything like that. But I will retweet all these things about how this executive is a scumbag, how this person touched that person, how this person drove this person to commit suicide. Like, I will talk about those things. So that's important to do. But I'm not going to sit here and try to, like, shame somebody for buying the Diablo 2 remaster or what have you. So, yeah, that's my stance for anybody who's been wondering about this situation. Let's see. Okay, we got a couple of super chats. Let's see. So we got the homie Marcus Doyle Terrell coming in with 2 super chats. Thank you so much, brother. Good to see you. First super chat. Does anybody else think that One Piece can be a chore to read sometimes? I appreciate Oda for wanting to focus on the story, but the fight shouldn't have to take a hit because of it. Also, do you think that nobody actually wants relationships to be stable? Toxicity has friction. I believe everybody wants their partner to have flaws. Okay, so 2 different questions. So the first one, as far as One Piece is concerned, well, here's the thing, Marcus. I can't speak on it from somebody who keeps up with One Piece on a weekly basis, because I, back in 2019, I did a complete reread of One Piece where I was trying to catch up. I got to, like, chapter... I'm in the high hundreds at this point. Definitely past chapter 500. So I don't know how One Piece has been in recent years, so I am not the best person to ask about it. If anyone's reading it, feel free to comment below. But honestly, I feel like that is something that does happen when you are writing a story for, like, what, 25 years now. It is going to take a hit in some way, shape, or form. And, you know, in this case, from what you're telling me, it sounds like the fights are taking a hit because of it, which, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, when you're writing a story for that long, at some points, he's going to want to focus on one thing more than the other. And the thing I will say, though, about One Piece is it has a lot of good fights. But what Oda really excels at is writing great characters, great stories, and world building. And because all 3 of those traits are so strong, that's why I am invested in One Piece. Like I said, the fights are great, but I could go to any other shonen series and get good fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bleach is a great example. Great fight scenes, great aesthetics. Characters, shitty. You know, story, shitty. But in a perfect world, you should have a balance of that. But I think that just, like I said, comes with the territory of writing a story for 30 years. At some point, you kind of get tired of, like, okay, how am I going to write this type of battle sequence? You get what I'm saying? Which is why, you know, no disrespect to Oda at all. This is why I think stories should not be running for this long. And if you are running a story for decades, take breaks, do other things, focus on different characters. Like, I love what Araki does with JoJo. I just love the way he does that with all these different parts. Like, this man takes his time. He doesn't just phone it in. But, you know, when you have something that's in Weekly Shonen Jump and it goes, like, on weekly basis, it's just, I don't know, man. I'm not, like, One Piece is the sole exception of a show that's been going on this long, and it's great because because of how he's written it. But that's not to say that's not the same as, like, all these other shows that are running for this long. And it's like Naruto, for example. You couldn't tell when Kishimoto just, like, started to lose the plot and lose what he wanted to do with this story, because it started getting fucking ridiculous in Shippuden. Which is why I think, like, you know, sometimes we need to, if this is the story that we are going to tell with these characters, this needs to be the story and that's it. Anything else you want to add, like these interesting ideas for a sequel series or a different series entirely, save that for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because then the main story gets bogged down. But yeah, it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting when I do another catch up of One Piece, because like I said, I'm over chapter 500. I forgot exactly where. I think it was like 6, 7. I don't know, something like that. It's gonna be interesting to see where they go, like just to see the dialogue and the discussion that everyone online is having. Because it is interesting to hear about the One Piece discourse. Like, I know all the discourse involving the anime because I actually did watch a lot of the anime. Like, the One Piece anime is so weird because like there are some moments in the One Piece anime that are really hyped that I'm not supposed to do this, but I would skip to and see like, ooh, what's this all about? And I would watch it. I was like, yo, I have no context of it, but this is fucking awesome. But then I would want to watch like the episodes that either came after or before, and the pacing is fucking terrible. Like, the pacing is so bad. It's like, dude, I can't see why I don't see why people watch that thing weekly. Because that pacing is so bad. I would rather read a chapter than watch a 25-minute episode that it goes at a snail's pace. All right. And as far as your second question mark is, do you think that nobody actually wants relationships to be stable? Toxicity as friction. I believe everybody wants their partner to have flaws. This is an interesting topic. Okay, so how do we approach this? So believing you want your partner to have flaws. Like I said, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm not that type of person where I want toxicity in my relationship. Like, oh, I want this. I want my partner to be inadequate. But I think what it ultimately comes down to is the whole idea of the reacher versus the settler, which exists in every single relationship. A lot of people don't like to talk about this, but there is always a reacher and there is always a settler in a relationship. For whatever reason, there is going to be somebody who is settling for something that is not up to their level, and at the same time there's going to be somebody who feels like they won the jackpot. And that's just a fact of life. It is what it is. You know, if you are somebody who, you know, whether it's financially or whether it's emotional availability and support or what have you, you're going to have that dynamic. Now, all of that stuff goes by the wayside because, yes, you have the idea of reacher versus settler, but on some level, there are components to each of you guys individually that come together and make each other like stronger and better because of it. In that respect, I personally don't like my partner having flaws, because for me, not that I want them to have flaws in the sense that I want you to have flaws. I don't look at it like, okay, I want them to have flaws so that way when they fuck up, I can use that against them. You get what I'm saying? Like, for me, somebody's flaws is just a part of who they are as a human being. But I think it depends on what exactly that flaw is. Like for example, if somebody has like personal issues with, let's say they overthink something. Let's say somebody says something and they think it means something else, right? That happens to the best of us. It happens. We get self-conscious. That's fine. That is a flaw. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a deal breaker unless it's something like you keep overthinking things and you act upon those impulses. Like, let's say, for example, like, let's say pretend I had a girlfriend, right? Let's say me and my girlfriend were supposed to go out to see this movie that I really wanted to see, but she was running late, and then we ended up not being able to see the movie, right? And obviously I'm pissed off because I couldn't see the movie, and she's just like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "No, I mean, I want to see the movie, but it's all right. I'll get over it." Now, me saying that could lead her to believe that, oh my God, this means that he's actually really mad about it, and you know, he might leave me and he might cheat on me and blah blah blah, when literally it's just like, yeah, it sucks that we couldn't see the movie, but it is what it is. We'll catch another showtime. Communication is very important in relationships, extremely important. I think that's why there are so many problems that exist, because people do not communicate their insecurities. And I'm not talking about saying you have insecurities, because anybody can say, "I'm broken, I'm not perfect, I'm not all there." Bitch, it does not matter if you say that. But what are you doing to better yourself? That's what matters, because I am not a perfect individual. Nobody in this chat is a perfect individual except for Daniel Pack. But at the end of the day, provided we are working towards making ourselves better individuals, not perfect individuals, we can achieve some type of like mutual understanding, you know? But stability in a relationship comes from both people realizing that they need to be humble. That's what it comes down to. People who realizing that they shit does in fact stink. those are the most successful relationships that I've seen, at least from my personal life. I'm not talking about, like relationships that people have been married for like 20, 30 years that I don't know them personally, but I'm talking about the people in my personal life who I've seen been married for years, and they all tell me the same thing. Humble yourself, humble yourself, humble yourself, humble yourself. Do not think you are better, unless it's in a joking way. You know what I'm saying? But humbling yourself is extremely important. Pointing out your flaws and pointing out how you're going to be better. And don't be so cocky. Don't be so condescending like you got this shit figured out, because nobody in life has this shit figured out. There are things that I think about now where I thought back then I knew how it was, and then now I'm like, well, how did I think like that back then? Life is about growth, ladies and gentlemen. But anybody who wants toxicity or friction and they think that shit is cool, like, this is the weirdest thing I saw. I was actually out one time, and I was overhearing this handful of people. I was out at a restaurant. There we go. And there was these group of people, maybe early 20 somethings. There was a couple, and then there were two single people, right? Now the couple was getting roasted by the single people, saying that, oh, you guys, you're so boring in your relationship. You guys don't ever fight. You don't ever argue. You're just so square. And I was thinking to myself, what the fuck is wrong with that? Like, yeah, sometimes people are just very chill and they say what they mean and they work through their problems, and that's it. They don't need to have 20 million arguments. But some people, it's weird because they want that spice in the relationship. Or it's like, oh, he's too boring for me. Like, what the fuck do you want? You want me to go like cheat on you and then we have a big old argument about it? I was like, yes, I want that. Like, it's just so fucking weird. But those are the type of people that you need to stay away from. You do not need to be with people who complain that you're boring because you work your 9 to 5, you come home, play video games, you stay out of trouble, and you just do you. Like, anybody who says that, oh, that person's boring, what the fuck do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, provided he's paying those bills and he's staying out of trouble, like, what do you need to worry about? But like I said, those people you don't want to involve yourself with, because that is a downgrade. All right. Let's see. $5 super chat from Marcus. Dragon Ball was able to balance having a story and action scenes, like you said. I think this is an example of Oda kind of dragging the story out too long. Yeah, that's the thing, bro. I mean, I don't know what story needs to be 25 years long. I'm just being honest. Like, One Piece is a great show. It's a great manga, but I'm sorry, no story needs to be 25 years long. It does not. Like, you could have ended this. You could have ended this story in 10 years. You definitely could have done that. It could have been a nice, well-paced 10-year story. And if you wanted to do other stuff in the One Piece world, you could do that decade by decade. But this whole thing for 25 years, bro, could you imagine, like, yeah, I'm going to go back and reread all of One Piece. That's going to be an undertaking. Let's see. $13.99 Canadian super chat coming in from Colin, my boy. Do you think that society and people are too lenient on parents whose kids horribly misbehave in public? I know you're often seen as some kind of unsympathetic monster if you complain about it at all. And Colin, my man, you speak in my language. Okay, so as somebody who, I've worked various retail jobs throughout the years, worked customer service, work in a restaurant. I've seen kids. And kids are the worst thing in the world. I know some people say, well, yeah, there's some good kids out there. Yes, they are. But there's 10, for every single good child out there, there's 10 little spawns of Satan running around, causing havoc, wreaking damage. It's just, oh God, man. And honestly, I view that as a failure on the parents. Now, I don't have children. I won't be having children for a while. And the way it's looking right now, I'll be okay if I don't have kids for a while. But one thing I've noticed about all the people out there who just do not discipline their kids, these people think that ignoring their kids is going to solve the problem. Trust me, on behalf of everybody who's got to listen to your whining little Satan spawn, it does not. Like, I see a lot of people think that by ignoring their kids, crying and whining and moaning and causing havoc. No. Like, let me tell you this funny ass story that happened at work one night, right? So, this family brought it was like his mom, his dad, and they had 2 kids, right? And one of the kids was running all around the restaurant. Now, anybody who's worked in a restaurant, especially a high volume restaurant where it's really busy, You know that servers and bussers and all these people are running around with heavy trays of plates going into the kitchen or food coming out of the kitchen. We need clear lines of sight to do our job. So when you have your little child running around, jumping off tables, disrupting all the people, like, first things first, when you're coming in, like, I don't care if it's fucking Applebee's or it's Morton's Steakhouse or what have you. Keep your damn kids on a leash, because people go out to eat. It doesn't matter if it's a family establishment. It doesn't matter if it's whatever. People go and they pay money to sit down and be waited on. Doesn't matter if it's fine dining or doesn't matter if it's casual. So you got to control your kids. And there was one night, for example, where this kid was running around, jumping on all the booths. And honestly, like, for me, I stay in my lane for the most part at work. I don't try to be a manager. I don't do anything like that because I don't get paid as much. Because, I just go there, I do what I got to do, and that's it. Right? Because it's a part-time job for me I do over there. But when I see kids hopping around, I'm just looking at their parents, and I'm like, you dumb motherfuckers. Like, you raise your kids like this? Because if this is how your kid acts outside, I don't even want to know how your kid acts at home. But they were just letting them do that stuff because they're tired or whatever. But I'm sorry, that's a failure on parenting. If your kid is going around and causing damage, it is. I'm sorry, you are a shitty parent if your kid is running around doing that. It is what it is. And so I remember there was one night where there was this kid. He was running around, right? And I swear to you guys, this kid was running around, and there was this one fixture, right? We call it the server station, the server's podium, that has a POS machine where you can input orders or whatever. There's this little piece there's this little door that, you can open and close. And sometimes it's a little open, sometimes it's fully closed. But this door was a little open and it's kind of sharp on the edge of it. But mind you, no one would ever come in contact with that sharp point, considering we're not at a point where, you can actively come in contact with that, right? But this kid was running around and he was running so crazy and he just bumped into that thing, banged his head, slammed on the ground, started crying. And I was just sitting there at the other podium on the other side. I turned over and I looked and I was like, cause you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, man. That's how it is. That is how it is, man. And I don't care. I do not care. Like, if you cannot control your kids in public, if you bring your screaming 1-year-old to a theater, I'm sorry. You made the decision to not pull out. You made the decision to let that nigga come inside you. We should not have to accommodate for you. If I go and I pay $21 for my IMAX ticket to see Spider-Man No Way Home, I do not need to hear your crying baby in there. Especially not for a Thursday 6 p.m. showing. You take your kid to an 11 a.m. Tuesday showing, not when everybody else is trying to enjoy the movie. Get a fucking babysitter. If you can't afford a babysitter, why are you at the movie theaters? Why are you at the movie theaters if you can't afford a fucking babysitter? No, stop this shit. Stop this shit. Stop this shit, man. And I'm very aggressive about this. I'm not like, no. You don't have a kid. You don't understand, Neo. No. Fuck that shit, bro. I paid my ticket just like anybody else, man. I can't with this shit, bro. And you want to know why? Because when I was a kid, I didn't do this shit. And my mom, if the first time I ever acted out of line as a kid, you want to know what happened when I got home? My mom gave me that belt. She gave me that belt. Then after a while, she's like, okay, this is a little too harsh. I'm going to put his ass in the corner. He's going to sit there. No video games, no TV, no nothing. My mom disciplined me. Kids these days aren't disciplined because we got to be friends with the kids. Listen, there is a fine line between abuse and discipline. I understand that. But these people just ain't even disciplining their kids. Whew. What? Like, I'm sorry, this like, oh, my kid is my friend. No. Seriously, bro. Ugh. There was one time on a plane when, there was a kid behind me and he kept kicking my seat constantly. And I remember I was hanging out with my boy Jamal, right? And I was like I said, I bite my tongue on a lot of things. But the second time that happened, right, when it was on my flight by myself, where there was a kid behind me kicking my seat, I turned around and I was just like, excuse me, are you this kid's parent? Can you stop him from kicking me? And I looked them dead in the face. Like straight panned expression, nothing. I wasn't trying to be like, oh, hi, you know, blah, blah. I was like, no, tell your kid to stop kicking me. And I just stared her straight in the face. And you know, when you like, it just is what it is when it's a black person, you know what I'm saying? White people get scared, you know? So I don't deal with that shit, bro. I don't deal with that shit. I paid for my plane ticket just like you did. Like, stop your kid from doing that shit. I can't with this. Because when I have a kid, I am not going to let them do that. Neo going off the rails, huh? Listen, I'm telling you, these are shitty fucking parents. These are shitty parents. If you do not control your kids in public, you have failed as a parent. I'm sorry. Man. Because when I was on a plane, when I was 5 years old, you want to know where my ass was? Sitting in the chair. Reading my coloring book. That's it, man. I don't like, I know, like, oh, Neo, you're crazy. I'm like, nah, man. Nah. Listen, my mom put the fear of God in me as a child. Some of these kids, we can't even talk about God nowadays. Man. Yeah, we going off the rails tonight. Let's see. Well, let's get back to some other questions. Let's see what else y'all was asking. Let's see. Is Neo buying Neo The World Ends With You? Yes, Neo will indeed. You know, it's kind of sad that I have to buy a game with my own name in it. It's kind of sad, man. Like, they take my name. They don't give me any royalties. And I have to buy it, man. But yeah, I'm excited for The World Ends With You 2. I still call The World Ends With You 2. Because it's... that's what it is to me, man, after so many years. I played through the demo. I really enjoyed the demo. And I'm just like, I think this is it. I think it's going to be the one. I think they got it. Let's see. These situations are tough, especially considering not many people pay attention to gaming development and the culture of the workplace. People still sink money into FIFA. I hate shady ethic culture. It is sad, man, because, you know what? Because I see a lot of people, a lot of Twitch streamers, a lot of people on Twitter, you know, canceling their pre-orders for Blizzard games, canceling, you know, streams for their games. And more power to them if that's the way they want to contribute to it. But the sad part about it, and I'm not saying this to diminish their activism, we represent a very, very, very small, minute group of people who make up the entirety of Activision Blizzard's financial revenue stream. The majority of people who play their games are casuals, people who don't follow gaming news, people who aren't on Twitter. They're just people who play FIFA every year and they play Call of Duty every year, and that's it. So most of them probably don't even know about the situation happening right now unless this story makes headlines with the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, CNN, places like that where they could, you know, have access, because they're more inclined to watch CNN and then see that rather than go to something like Jason Schreier's Twitter page. They might not even know who Jason Schreier is. So it is tough. It's a rough situation. Have you ever played the first Red Dead Redemption? Yes, I have. It's actually one of my favorite games. And if you guys haven't already, play that on Xbox, man. Dude, that game looks unreal on the Series X, man. It looks insane. Oda said it himself. You have to be willing to die for One Piece. Oh, wow. I mean, the way it's going right now, man, 25 years. That's almost my entire life. But what's up to all the new people joining in the chat? What's up, y'all? If y'all's enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button. I personally think Boruto shouldn't exist. It should have been a guide in different stories focusing on the first Hokage and the second Hokage and what ifs, like what if Naruto was the one tail or five tail Jinchuriki. Yeah, honestly, I'm not a big fan of sequel series in anime because they're rarely done well. And Boruto, I mean, I heard from people who read the manga, it's decent. But still, like, I would have loved other stories about the Naruto world. I don't care about Naruto's kid. And the fact that you got to bring in Naruto and Sasuke to make shit hype defeats the purpose about doing a sequel series about Naruto's kid. Like, Go ahead and give me other stories in the Naruto world. Tell me about the shit that we barely heard about in the story. That's what I want to see more of. Perfection comes from 2 androids. That's a fact. Perfection is also in the form of a glazed donut. Oh, yes. Absolutely. I was supposed to get donuts today. I didn't get donuts today, guys. Dang it. Might get them tomorrow. Man, I wish I heard that advice years ago. Hey, Anthony Nguyen, man. Listen, we all live and we all learn, bro. Every single day. You know what the thing is? I kind of resent the idea, like, where if you don't do something right the first time, or you know how a lot of people are saying, I'll only do something if it's 100% perfect. Well, if you don't do something, how are you going to know what perfect is in that scenario? Like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I'll never get into a relationship unless it's like this, and they have all their specifications on their list. But how do you even know what you're going to be like in a relationship until you get into it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always easy to commentate on things from an outsider's perspective, but until you actually get into it and see what it's about, you just don't know. So yeah, I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, not just romantically, but just in general. But every single one of those mistakes has it's made me a better person. You know, I've learned from all those mistakes, and I haven't made those mistakes since, which is very important. Neo question, is my new profile picture for this channel good? It's the inner me, my insanity. I'm hella weird, but I also, what the hell happened to Kingdom Hearts? I gotta scroll, I gotta see this. I can't really, I'm sort of, because your profile picture is so tiny. I gotta pop out your channel and see if I can see this. Oh, I can't really see it. Ugh. Dang it. Let's see. Perfection is when McDonald serves me fresh fries. Ooh, fresh fries. Ooh, with that nice Sprite. That's what I'm talking about, you guys. I'm telling you, nothing hits like McDonald's fries and Sprite. $5 super chat coming in from Flame. Honestly, I just hate having my time wasted in a relationship where it doesn't go anywhere and they just stop talking to me. It's annoying as fuck. Well, honestly, Flame, if you are in a relationship and it's defined as a relationship and they start doing that, they start drifting, you just got to be upfront, be like, are we still good or nah? Because you need to get a definitive answer. Like, if something is a problem, I'm very much so of the belief where we got to talk about this, we got to address it. Because if we don't, that's when we start drifting apart. I'd much rather, if it is a problem and we can't work on it, we get that out of the way in the beginning so we can just move on with our lives. We can heal, we can recover, and we can go from there. But this whole like past 6 months of the relationship hasn't been great. It's like, why did you wait for an entire 6 months? You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man, honestly, I would say just being more vocal, because a lot of people just like to be wishy-washy in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because whether it's they fear hurting someone's feelings or whatever it is. But it's very important to just be upfront. Very important. That's what I've been doing. Like, especially since my last relationship, I definitely bottled a lot of things in when I shouldn't have. But now going forward, I'm just very upfront and direct. And if that's not to a potential prospect's liking, then we're just not compatible. We move on. We go about our business. And that's A-okay, because less headaches that way. Also about Naruto, notice how there ain't no people of the Cloud Village, black people, in the Akatsuki. Hey, that's all I'm saying, man. Even Kishimoto knew that us black people just mind our business. We, like, for example, oh my God, there's a noise in the basement. Is there? Oh, well, I didn't hear it. So y'all go do you. Y'all have fun. That's it, man. I'm just saying. Because I ain't got time to be an explorer and see what that shit is, man. I'm staying up here. I am staying up here. And if it's going to come again, this is why you got to keep a fucking 12 gauge in every room. You got to. Why the fuck are you going to go downstairs, man? You let that thing come to you and then surprise it. Neo, how old were you when you first got some cheeks? Any advice? Shoot. When I first got some cheeks? Oof. All right. So the first time, I'm trying to remember, I forgot what age it was, but the first time I got some type of action was, I was 19. Was I 19? Sometime in my teens. I remember that's when I got my first blowjob. But oh shit, this is a Christian YouTube channel. But yeah, so it's somewhere around that era. But yeah, some of my advice, honestly, man. Listen, I know we're talking to primarily guys here. I'm just be real, you guys. Your first time having sex, it's gonna be very nervous. You're not gonna know what the fuck you're doing. Just expect to suck. It is what it is, man. I mean, my first time having sex, guys. Like I said, these streams get pretty raunchy. My first time having sex, you guys, I did not climax, man. I did not climax. It was the nerves. And I was like too preoccupied trying to satisfy my significant other that I didn't. And I thought it was like, oh, this is great because I lasted so long. Yeah, I was awesome. But, it's literally just my nerves that were getting it was, just very self-conscious and anxiety. So my best piece of advice is just to do it. Just do it. Just have sex, man. And then go from there. Like, nobody is an expert their first time around. It's all about learning about you and what you like, and then your significant other and what they like, and then just going from there. That's what it's all about. And don't really worry too much, because a lot of guys get too wrapped up with watching porn and trying to replicate the movements from the guys they see in porn. But that's not healthy at all, because these guys are professionals. They do this shit every single day, and they do some crazy stuff that you're like, what? I mean, later down the road, you could experiment with some stuff. But sex is a natural part of life, and if you have sex with love, it's something completely different than just regular sex. Sex with love is very different. It's more passionate, and damn, we're really talking about this shit. But yeah, definitely just do it, man. And worry about all that other stuff later. And if it wasn't that great that first time, so what, man? Nobody's first time is great at all. $10 super chat coming in from Marcus. I'm just about to finish up Star Wars The Clone Wars, and that show was amazing. I'm slap the next Star Wars fan I see for not telling me how hyped the show was. About to start Rebels. How is the series? All right, man. So here's the thing about Clone Wars. Clone Wars, looking back on it, is the best piece of Star Wars media to come out since the prequels and the original trilogy. Because for the first time, we are actually getting a piece of Star Wars fiction in television form that expands upon the lore and the world and all the world building that comes from it. Now, the thing about Clone Wars is it did take a while for it to hit its stride. There's a lot of episodes there that are just kind of episode of the week sort of shtick, but what it builds up to, developing Anakin. First off, Anakin Skywalker is an actual character. Unlike, you guys know, I do not like 2 out of the 3 prequel movies because I feel it just didn't. They didn't justify their existence, if that makes sense. Like, nothing about Anakin in the prequel movies made me go, oh my god, I see how he became the character of Darth Vader. It wasn't until I watched the Clone Wars where I started seeing things like, oh, I can totally see Anakin's turn. But you shouldn't need supplemental material to develop a character. It should have been developed in the movie, and then when you watch Clone Wars, it adds on to it. But this is the world that we live with, this disjointed Star Wars universe. But the cool thing about Clone Wars is that the longer you watch it, it gets better and better and better and better. And all the stuff that happens from it has basically shaped Star Wars into the modern form. The Inquisitors, Ahsoka Tano, like stuff happening in The Mandalorian, Darth Maul, like all that stuff is owned to the Clone Wars. And yes, Darth Maul did appear in the Phantom Menace, but Darth Maul was not an actual character until the Clone Wars. Like, that's what I'm trying to say, how much Clone Wars legitimized the prequels. Rebels, on the other hand, I'm gonna be real. Rebels is not as good as Clone Wars. It isn't. Rebels is definitely more... I don't want to say it's necessarily more kid friendly, but it's definitely more cartoony. It's definitely more, hey, mission of the week. Hey, let's do some bullshit things. Hey, this, yeah. It's still got like that Dave Filoni charm. It still develops the characters and it adds to the lore, but not to the same level as Clone Wars. Like, there's only a handful of episodes in Rebels where I'm like, yo, this is Clone Wars tier. Everything else is okay. Like, the relationships between the characters is okay, but everything else they're doing, I don't really care much about. Now, they do introduce one character by the name of Grand Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels. Of course, he's a big OG when it comes to the Star Wars lore. But even in that show, like, if they introduce Thrawn in, let's just say, hypothetically, if they introduce Thrawn in Clone Wars, you would have seen him for who he is. In Rebels, they kind of nerfed him. So, yeah, like, Rebels has some good stuff to it, but as a whole, it's like, I can't rewatch Rebels like I do Clone Wars. Clone Wars, I can go back and rewatch random episodes and have fun. Rebels, I'll rewatch the stuff that's connected to Clone Wars and the stuff that's like building into future Star Wars lore, but there's honestly not that much of that in the show, unfortunately. So just brace yourself. Dude, Maul coming back shocked the hell out of me. Yes, it's so good too. It is so cool. It is so cool. Same thing for the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch is definitely more in line with Clone Wars than it is Rebels in terms of the storytelling, in terms of how serious it gets. And dude, oh my god, what they're doing in Bad Batch, I hate, because if it was called Star Wars The Clone Wars Bad Batch, there would be a lot more eyes on it. But what they're doing in Bad Batch, oh my lord, I'm not gonna get into spoilers, but it's fucking awesome, man. It's fucking awesome. Oh man, but yo, I still wish that, you know, Disney and Lucasfilm would release the Siege of Mandalore in theaters. Like, the final 4 episodes of Clone Wars is peak Star Wars. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. You've seen all of Clone Wars, right, Marcus? I just want to make sure. Oh, snap. We've got Mr. Platink in the chat. Here we go, guys. There you are. Happy belated birthday, Neo. I was trying to catch up with you and give you a great big smooch. Anyways, happy belated birthday and thanks for the sex talk. I love how the last emoji is just like, wait, what? Man, I appreciate it, Mr. Platink. It's, like I said, never a dull moment when you come into the chat. Never a dull moment. Oh, damn, Neo's a late bloomer. Yeah, I was a late bloomer, man. I was a late bloomer. Well, I mean, that's not really that late. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, some of my friends, they had sex when they were like 13. Me, I didn't. It took me a little while. But ain't no shame in that, man. Ain't no shame in that. This man says, tighten up that stroke. Ayo. Oh my god, y'all killing me, man. See, this is when you just get into a chat with just a whole bunch of dudes chilling, man. Oh, appreciate that. Oh, who's going in the wrong hole? Oh no. I don't even want to know what y'all getting into. Damn. Okay, we got $5 super chat coming in from Marcus. I don't see how people call Clone Wars a kid's show. Dudes be getting stabbed, gunned down, committing suicide. Also, let's talk about Maul versus the Emperor. Yeah, dude, that's the thing. People just look at it and it's animated and it's cartoony and they think it's a kid's show. And it did sort of start off like a whole, you know, you're watching this because it's Star Wars. Because a lot of the earlier Clone Wars episodes, I'm not saying they were bad, but there wasn't anything too compelling about them. But once they found their footing, it's like, yeah, man. But yeah, it's very, very dark. It gets dark. I mean, dude. The final 4 episodes is essentially... Marcus, have you seen it, man? I just don't want to spoil... It's not really a spoiler, but... It's not a spoiler because you know it takes place after episode 3. Like, I mean, well, before episode 3. So, yeah, man. I would never take my child to a movie theater unless they are 6 years old. They should be able to remember their first movie going experience because it's special. That's a fact, Colin. I ain't taking my kids to the movies until they can actually remember, what did you watch yesterday on TV? That's it. But yeah, Clone Wars had some dope fights, man, dude. Like I said, the Siege of Mandalore. I will not shut up about that, dude. It's so fucking good. Okay, you wrapped it up, yo, dude. That whole, I love Order 66. I love the scene in episode 3. But what I love is seeing it from different perspectives and how it's handled. And in the Clone Wars, you know they're leading up towards Revenge of the Sith. But in the time you're watching it, you don't really think about it. But then Ahsoka starts getting those visions, and you're like, wait a minute. Oh my God. And then you start hearing the voices, and you're like, oh my God. And then Darth Maul, he's going crazy saying, you don't know what you're about to unleash. And oh my God. Like, that show is so well done because it makes you forget what you're about to experience. Like, I love it. How do you think this Hawkeye show is going to hit? Honestly, I don't know. It's going to be interesting because, spoilers for Black Widow. But Florence Pugh's character is going to be making an appearance in that show, because she is led to believe that Hawkeye is the one who's responsible for Natasha's death, even though everybody knows this bullshit, but who knows? I mean, who knows what the enemy intel has to try to, they just do what they do, try to finesse. But honestly, I don't have any expectations on what it's going to be. There are rumors that Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is going to make an appearance, which will be very interesting. But if I had to take a guess about what the story is going to be, I think it probably has to do with Hawkeye and him cleaning up the time that he spent as Ronin. Because, there was 5 years where he was spiraling out of control and killing all these mob bosses. Like, that's definitely going to make some enemies. So I think this is going to play a role in that. And it's also going to play a role in him passing the proverbial torch to Kate Bishop and seeing where it goes from there. But I haven't really been checking for this show other than the fact that it's got amazing casting. So I think it's going to be cool. Like, Marvel's done really well on these shows so far. So yeah, I think that's going to be cool. Miss Marvel, I'm genuinely interested in because I do like Kamala Khan, and I actually really like what they did with her in the Avengers game. So if they're going to give that type of, and this is what really bothers me. Kamala Khan's story should have been the only story in the MCU where you have a character who idolizes an Avenger and wants to be like them, and them also coming to their own with them becoming a superhero. They shouldn't have done that shit with Spider-Man and Iron Man. I'm just being honest, because that's Kamala Khan's story. That's Kamala Khan's story right there. And now if they're going to tell it the same way, we're just going to be getting that story again. So yeah, like that. I mean, I'm excited for it because, Kamala Khan's cool, but it sucks that like we had to have a whole Spider-Man do that whole thing for an entire arc. You know what I'm saying? What's exactly is Marvel's plan? Are the movies just going to promote the TV shows now? No. So they're going to exist simultaneously. So the movies are going to affect the TV shows and vice versa. So everything is interconnected. They're going to tell the stories on TV for a lot of their up-and-coming characters, and they can develop them more. And they're going to use the movies for more like the bigger tentpole events. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is going to be affected because of Loki and Kang the Conqueror, or He Who Remains, and then we're going to see Kang the Conqueror in that movie. Same thing for WandaVision. The events of WandaVision lead directly into both Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So everything is becoming interconnected in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I do like the idea of them focusing more on the TV shows, because I'm going to be honest, a 2-hour movie every couple of years is not enough development for a lot of these characters. So TV is where it's at, because comics are long form storytelling and they can tell great stories. Like, okay, I'll just be honest, unless it's something like what they did with Captain America in his trilogy, or what Nolan did with the first 2 Batman movies, they don't really be developing these characters that much in the movies. You know what I'm saying? Because the first movie's always an origin. It's like, all right, let's get this over and done with. And then the second movie, depending on how well they nail it, could be great, but sometimes they might flounder, like Iron Man 2, Thor 2. So it's easier, at least with TV, because you already know you're going to have, like in the case of Loki, 6 hours. 6 hours to tell this story, and then go from there. But Yeah, I'm gonna be very interested because Aaron, you brought up a good point. How accessible are these movies going to be to the public? Because the cool thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, up until this point, anyways, was that you could pretty much watch any movie with the exception of the event ones like Endgame, Infinity War, etc. And you could have a good time. Like you can watch Ant-Man and not have seen Guardians of the Galaxy or Spider-Man and be just fine. You can see Guardians of the Galaxy and not have seen the events of Winter Soldier and be just fine. But now, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, Wanda is going to be in that as the Scarlet Witch. If the last movie you saw was Avengers Endgame, you didn't see the Scarlet Witch. So you're kind of wondering, okay, what's going to happen? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think I think it is going to become harder for the general public, with the exception of standalone movies like Blade. I think anything that's involved with an event stuff, you have to keep you got to keep tabs on it, because that's the only way they can actually tell these stories, you know? Oh, man. Take it easy, dimwit. Thank you for coming to the stream, brother. You have a good night. Oh, speaking of wrapping this stream up, you guys, oof. I just looked at the clock and then I just got hit with a wave of fatigue, man. Oh, man. First comeback stream, we got 2 hours into it. That's not too shabby. But guys, as always, thank you so much for coming through to the stream. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Thank you guys so much for just watching. Like we had a really consistent run of viewers here. Like, cause you know what happens when you do streams, for those who don't know, is that you tend to lose viewership over time. But we had like a consistent like 90, 100 plus watching tuned in. So shout out to you guys commenting. Shout out to all the people who aren't commenting but they're lurking in the background. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream. You guys are fantastic. As far as content coming to the channel, I know I've been slacking for the past couple weeks because it has been a little busy, I know. But I got y'all with a Series S impressions video next week, in addition to just a whole bunch of other stuff that I've been thinking about. I just gotta buckle down, record it, and then go from there. But yeah, before we go, for those who are new and tuning in for the first time, you might not know what's about to happen. But on Ask Neo, at the end of every stream, we do something called a hydration check, which is essentially where, you know, if you haven't had your water for the day or you're falling behind in your daily intake for your water, we go ahead and we chug as much water as we can. Now, it could be any type of water. For me, I usually go for seltzer water because that's what I have on deck here in the crib. But what are you guys drinking tonight? What kind of water? You drinking tap water? You drinking Poland Spring, Essentia? Like, what are y'all drinking? Let me know down below. But until then, you guys, till then, 3, 2, 1. He said he's hydrating with a beer. Oh shit. I would say chug that, but I don't know, man. I'm very much so a responsible individual. Anyways, 3, 2, 1. Hydration. There we go. We got the rest of the bottle in there. Good shit. All right, you guys. Again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, you guys, for coming through to the stream. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, for all the likes, and just in general, blessing me with y'all's presence. I will be back for Ask Neo next Saturday evening, and I'll throw a video or two in between. But yeah, you guys, chug Canada Dry Bold. Oh, you tempted fate. You tempted fate right there. You tempted fate right there with that one, bro. But until next time, you guys, from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. Like always, we catch you guys later. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.